Good afternoon, YouTube. So, the original intention of this YouTube channel was to share my past experiences and, maybe stuff I was going through currently and help try and inform and relate to y'all. And we're getting to experience some stuff in real time here. So, in past videos, I've told you about recently going no contact with my mom and narcissistic mom, um, and all that entailed. And post separation abuse is a real thing. Is what I'm saying, post separation abuse from a toxic relationship. They're uh, stalking, menacing. Calling you repeatedly, texting you. Calling you names, making threats, what have you. It's almost worse than keeping that person around. Like, this bitch can't take or can't let go of the fact that I'm not an extension of her and that she is genuinely making me ill. Her behavior is genuinely affecting me, and me making that choice for myself, for the betterment of myself, she can't handle it. And the thing is about narcissistic people, especially vulnerable or covert narcissists, I mean, all of them have definitely a big ego wound and a very thin skin, inability to take criticism, um, pretty much like a giant fucking chip off their shoulder, like they ain't even got a shoulder. And fucking, she's taken that as, a big abandonment hit or whatever the fuck. And, I told you I had one sister that went no contact first. I had, well, kind of both of them, but then my malignant narcissist sister, excuse me, would commonly weaponize her kids against my mother to manipulate and control her. Pretty much, you do whatever you want and fucking whatever I want, and you can see the kids. You piss me off, you can't. And fucking, she is going through my young nephew, trying to make him pick sides. Keep in mind, she is 60 and he is 15, and she's trying to make him get in the middle of this, like this between me and you. But that's part of that post separation abuse, is they got to try and turn people against you. They got to make sure that they go around first spreading the shit, because they got to maintain that image of themselves. And what I've realized too is it's not even like my mom don't leave the house. She don't talk to nobody. And girl thought, the Wendy Williams sound, like, um the Nile is a river in Egypt, your husband is gay. And fucking, well, yeah, fucking funny thing is my birth father is closeted. Not that that's a bad thing, but it just fit. um Hold on, let me find it. But that chip on their shoulder and fucking talking about me to other people. Oh, and the best part they do is they use their weaknesses against you. They learn all this stuff about you, especially if they're family, if they're a parent. Telling my teenage nephew immediately after I went no contact, had to go to him and then even try and reach out to my friends like she has in the past. But this time she's using a new one. She is using my mental health, like my past mental health struggles I've been open about. I'm on medication now, mental health medication, been in therapy, have had a couple of hospitalizations, all in the name of fucking growth, and trying to weaponize that against me. Yeah. hmm All because she can't break that delusion of herself. Long story long. She ain't trying, she has nobody else to try and keep this facade up with. But the more people that she can try and convince that I'm in the wrong or that I'm going crazy or fucking whatever, then she can, okay, you're validating me, fucking, okay, so always, forever victimhood that it's always the other person. It could ever be the fact that you're a fucking disgrace and a toxic ass fucking person. Um, telling my nephew, here's the funny part because this fucking bitch, for one thing, of course, narcissism and lying are like fucking Neapolitan ice cream. Like it just, all the flavors, they just go together. Fucking, minus strawberry. Fucking told him to write out my address on an envelope in cursive so I wouldn't know the letter was from her. And the letter was going to be asking for all the stuff she's ever given me back. It's like, okay, for one thing, beyond petty. Like, no, bitch. Like, absolutely not. Like, under the law, and I grew up having the cops at my house all the fucking time, is you, Indian giving is not permitted under the law. It's a civil matter, for one thing. Police don't like to get involved. And then also, you can't take back, oh, I want the birthday present from when you were 16 back. Girl, take your fucking petty and shove it in your mouth like the cupcakes. Like, okay, we getting rude now, but fucking this bitch pissed me off. Like, for one thing, are you that fucking stupid that, okay, you're gonna have someone else fill out the envelope and then mail it to me? So you do that so won't know it's from you, but then the letter inside is you trying to fucking bait me back in and get a conflict going, trying to maintain control over my life, trying to manipulate. Like, girl, like, at least be fucking good at it. Like, come on now. I'm so sick of this shit. But it's fine. It's fine. You recognize, you sort it out. That's what we're here for. We talk about this. And I know many of you have probably been in such similar shit. And like this kind of thing is different when it's a parent. It's so much different. Even from a sibling to a parent, it's almost no comparison. Especially in this situation, situations like this, to where, for one thing, they live 4 doors down from you. um, and just someone like that the victimhood of a covert narcissist is, it's like a off-brand fucking Disney movie or something. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, you are forever the victim, but then you are the one that is reaching out. Girl, you ain't reaching an olive branch. You're reaching out like a fucking rusty flaming sword. You're the fucking spinning wheel from Sleeping Beauty, and I prick my finger and fucking die. Like, I'm doing me. But people like that, and again, people can change, most don't. Recognize patterns of behavior. She's been doing this my whole life, and even in adulthood, this can't happen overnight. Like, I'm trying. You've had 40 years to get your shit together and quit fucking with people, and you ain't done it yet. Pattern of behavior has not changed. Yeah, oh yeah, I'll change, I'll change. And then fucking good for like a week. And then right back to the same manipulative bullshit. Like, girl, we're having trauma responses here. I like profusely sweating for days. Feel like I'm going through menopause. Hot and cold, sweating regardless. Diarrhea is a common one. Vomiting. But we have some hydroxyzine. We don't do benzos here. Something to kind of take the edge off. I got my tea, and we're talking it out on here. That's fine. Remember, we're raising awareness for each other. We're relating to each other, and we why can't we talk about this? The shame people put on us for how they treat us to not expose themselves. Because if, you feel comfortable talking about what's done to you, you're going to tell people. People are going to know. It's going to break the illusion. But if they keep you silent and they make you feel like it's your fault, years and years and years of self blame and of fucking deflecting and fucking gaslighting the fuck, you believe everything is you. You truly believe that other people's mistreatment of you is because of you. And girl, I'm feeling like I did when I was a little kid. Like, for real, she give me the same fucking anxiety she always did, as I couldn't place it when I was younger. Cause it's like, girl, I love my mom, like fucking whatever. She's the lesser of two evils compared to my father. Malignant ass, violent narcissist, stalking, menacing, you know, couldn't even walk away from him because he'd bust a fucking door down. Like he was interesting. Um, but it's like, oh gee, it makes you think why you feel so uncomfortable around certain family members, why you feel anxiety when they text you, when they call you unexpectedly, or when you're around them, you feel completely, social battery drained, or just cannot relax when you're around them, not in your gut. All these things, being tense muscles, body armoring. The body remembers. The body keeps score. Hashtag Bessel van der Kolk. The body remembers these things that people did to us. And if they're still in your life, any interaction we have with these toxic people, even if either they've gaslit us to the point we can't remember, or we've filed stuff away because it was too painful to, have in the conscious mind, but the body knows. I stress that so much because it's so new to me, even. But the more I've listened to my body, and yes, post separation abuse, abuse in general is absolutely terrifying. It's so hard mentally, emotionally, spiritually when it's endured long term. And especially then you try and, okay, bye. And then it's like, no, I'm a follow you. I'm gonna make sure you can't fucking shut me out. And then, of course, mean about it. Fucking bitch. But this is fine because they get tired. I'm telling you, they get tired. If they're not getting a supply from you, they're not getting a reaction from you, they're not seeing you upset, they're not getting, you know what I'm saying? Anyone that's dealt with a narcissistic person, arguments or talking about your something they did that hurt you, your feelings, is to where they can be the loud one, they can be the aggressive one, and you try and ignore them, try and ignore them, try and talk to them calmly, and then when you finally lose it, why are you acting like that? Like, are you psychotic? That was my favorite one. Fucking always got to use the mental health against somebody to control them, right? To put them down. But it's all for the better because they get bored easily. She's going to go on to the next one. I'm so I don't even know how to explain how I feel. The fact that, you know, my nephews, her grandkids fucking are around her quite often, and she's the only, safe place outside of their home. But then fucking OG, she's gonna take that shit out on them. She's already trying to triangulate. And Jaden, yeah, zip, you didn't hear that. he sees like the rest of us do. The people that are trying to heal from this, that are trying to deal with these people, it like you see through it. Most of us were the scapegoats growing up, and we seen through it. We challenged it. We spoke up, eventually silenced a lot of us. But when you're when you see through shit and they know, they they double down, and it gets a lot worse. If you don't play along with the fairy tale, you don't put on a clown outfit and act in the circus, even if there's no audience, that can't happen. Then you're a target because you are breaking their illusion of the type of person they are, their role in a conflict or situation. But we got this. We're talking about it. We're opening up a conversation about it. And don't let them put you down. Don't let them scare you back. Put a name to it. I encourage you guys so much. If you are dealing with a difficult, toxic, narcissistic person, do your research. The education of these things, putting the names to them, putting the names to feelings or the bodily reactions or sensations when you're triggered, etc. Educating yourself on this stuff has been the absolute godsend, from coping with past things and then gradually getting better at coping with current and whatever the future might hold. But when you educate yourself, and that is find find a good therapist. I know not everyone has access to that, but they help you acquire lots of tools for this. They fill up a toolbox of coping skills and ways to homework, pretty much. I don't like that word. It seems like work, but it is, and it's the most valuable work because it's for you. And then when these times happen, it gets more reflexive, that you get a trigger. Okay, what was I just doing? Who was I just around when I got triggered? What was the topic of conversation? And you try and pick those things out. You name what's happening. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I think it is, which all these things are involuntary reactions. That's your parasympathetic nervous system. That's, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, which fawn I just learned about. It's quite interesting, but I'm sure a lot of us can relate. We'll get to that in another video. But it becomes more reflexive, that, and then even the way you talk down, or the way you talk to yourself. You can't stop a thought. That's why it's called an intrusive thought. You can't control your thoughts, and the more you try and push it out, the more you're going to be forced to ruminate on it. You got to challenge it. Prove it wrong. Anxiety is a whole lot of what ifs, not what is. What ifs? What is? And it becomes more reflexive in these stressful moments, in these triggering moments, to have that toolbox to pull from. You know what I'm saying? It's more helpful than I can understand, because not having a name for what you're feeling, what you're going through, like in the beginning of, I guess, when post traumatic symptoms started to really come up, especially as a teenager, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like, all I know is I'm fucking feel like I'm a fucking implode in on myself, like, constantly. But the more you educate yourself, the more you learn about yourself and how you're affected, why you're affected, and by who you're affected, it gets easier, and it's always worth it. It is 16 years since I started this journey. And it's been one step forward, 20 steps back, 5 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 10 steps back. What goes up must come down, and what goes down must come up. And it's always worth it. Like I said, you will build a reflex to this, and you will train your brain. You will, I don't know what the neurons, whatever, you form new neural pathways to that literally will change how you think, change how you talk to yourself. And think of it this way: the reason you think like this, you self blame or you self criticize or you put down yourself, these, you are not born into this world hating yourself or talking down on yourself. Other people had to say it and say it and say it and say it for it to get ingrained in there. So then you have to challenge it with positive things, positive qualities about yourself. You challenge these thoughts. Like, no, why would my best friends be like fucking talking about me or something? Okay, I can sit there and think, okay, a lot of betrayal trauma, a lot of people I've been betrayed by, and a lot of that was being humiliated by people. So it's like, okay, that's where that fear, that trigger comes from. Consider the source. Okay, this is a really trusted, loyal friend. They're not going to be talking about that. And you reel it back. And I don't quite know. I don't think it'll ever go away, especially if you went through long, extended trauma in childhood into adulthood, or even if you sustained a very abusive, narcissistic adult relationship, but it was long lived. That I think those thoughts are here to stay, but you can dilute the fuck out of them. You can lessen their numbers. You cut down their ranks, and it's always worth it. Again, subscribe, like, comment, message me. If you have something to share, a suggestion for something you want me to talk about, let me know. And always open a conversation about it. Enablers and abusers keep you silent. Normalize not blaming yourself for what others did to you.